like pieces, you know, like I
like of the process. What do you like?
or yeah, or like
Or what
cold
do you?
luster. Like I
Oh,
fucking hate
okay.
cold luster, right? And
Okay.
most people love
Gotcha.
that.
Yeah. Or that could just be like anything. It doesn't even have to be ceramics related.
Right.
All right. And what is the best worst? Kind of your pottery stuff.
We should just go down the line.
I'm sure there's some of these that are shit though.
That's not very nice, Ryan.
I mean, I'm just being honest. Not all questions are great. I think I actually wrote this one. What's something you enjoy that others may not know about you? I'm moving that up because I have something in mind.
Any tips on getting an even trimmed bottom? Fat bottom mugs make the rockin' wheel go round.
I love that one.
Fat bottom mugs, they make the rockin' wheel go round.
Fat bottom girls.
Fat bottom girls, you make the rockin' world go round.
Fat bottom. What did it say? Fat bottom what? Wheels? No, mugs.
It says fat bottom mugs. You make the rockin' wheel go round.
Fat bottom girl, mugs, you make the rockin' wheel go round. Drinking or throwing water. Okay. Do you want to do this 420 friendly one? Like,
oh, sure, why not?
All right. Favorite guest, Ben? All right.
Hold on, I'll be right back.
All right, I'll keep working here. So many from Chicken Chit.
Huh?
So many questions from Chicken Chit.
Chicken Chit.
Chicken Chit. That's funny. Not. All right. All right, let's sprinkle some Chicken Chit ones in here.
Okay, 1 second. You keep doing that. I'm trying to find something in Rebecca's studio.
All right.
Look at this painting.
What medium is that? Like, what is it?
It's
Watercolor or it's paint?
Yeah.
What's it on? Paper or canvas or what is that?
Paper. Yeah.
It's alright.
It's alright. I like it.
I'm much more to like abstract. I don't know why. Because it's
That's
like
it's a very abstracted nude, which I wouldn't normally go for a nude, but like
Yeah.
I didn't even choose that. He gave it to me. Because I got a painting. Remember, I showed you all the cool stuff that my friends did that was like the abstract stuff. And I got this huge painting from him, but he's too scared to do it because I gave him freedom. He's like, I don't want to disappoint you. And so he sent this to me as I'm sorry I haven't done it yet. Here you go. Cool. Okay, back to okay. Did we put okay, things changed. Okay.
Because there's a lot of questions at the top now.
Yeah, that's a fuck ton of questions. You think we're gonna get through those all?
Maybe. All right. Is there any like funny ones or anything you want to add that would be like good closer questions?
A good closer. We should just make up a question for the closer. What should our closer question be?
I'm throwing a couple art show ones up here too.
Oh, cool, perfect.
Just to mix them in.
I know.
Do you want to put it in there and surprise me, or do you just want to? Well, you're not going to surprise me because I could read it.
Surprise you. Well, maybe I don't know. I feel like we should do like a fun one, like if you could go back to any time period in history, where would you go, or something like that.
God, I hate those questions. That's like where in the world would you live?
Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego?
I don't fucking know.
I don't fucking know. Well, what do you want to do instead?
That's a question in here. Cider Boys.
Cider Boys.
Raspberry Smash. That's where it's at.
Raspberry lime shit.
Raspberry lime shit? It doesn't taste good?
They taste like they're not good. They're just not good.
That's going to be my what do people love that you hate? Fucking seltzers. Get that shit out of here. Anything sparkling. Get that shit out of here.
You know that cider is sparkling, right?
Is it?
Yeah.
No, it is not.
Yes, it is. It's got carbonation in it.
No, it doesn't.
It so does. Is it flat? Does it pop when you?
No, but wouldn't it say carbonated something in here though in the ingredients?
It doesn't need to because it develops the carbonation from the fucking cider. It's like beer.
I don't fucking believe that. All right, what do I look up? Is cider carbonated?
Yeah.
Hard cider?
Yeah.
Is hard cider. I mean, cider by itself says no, but let's look at hard cider. It might be.
Ha!
Natural carbonation.
Yeah, it's still natural, but it is carbonated. Because it like grows its own bubbles from the shit.
Okay, maybe I'm thinking of like the forced carbonation. Is what they call it. Where you inject the CO2. Yeah, get that shit out of here. Mm-hmm. Okay, I was wrong. I did look up this. There is this like instructional thing of how to make hard cider. That's something that's on my bucket list of like something I would like to try. But then I'm like, ain't nobody got time for that. But I would like to try it someday. There's like so many good ciders out there. Like, why try to make it? It says cider is less carbonated. Less carbonated than beer.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to hear something really funny that I read today?
What?
On a dating app. It was this guy's description, and he goes, "Hello there. As you have probably seen, I am far from the most attractive person, but that is because I am Australian, and we don't produce attractive people. Sorry, Australia."
That's funny.
That's so funny. I was like,
Is that true though? Like Australians aren't like they're all about the voice, right? I mean,
there's some fucking attractive Australian men.
I mean, isn't like the Hemsworth Australian and shit?
Yeah, that's exactly who.
Well, I mean, that's like a 1% Australian or like 0.5% Australian. That's not a everyday Australian.
Right. I don't know.
I'm sure there's some Australian athletes that are pretty
fucking hot, yeah.
attractive.
I'm
guessing you did not watch the Formula One race this past weekend, I'm guessing.
No.
But Daniel Ricciardo, which is Australian, won. Do you remember who that is?
Yeah.
He's probably attractive, right?
Yeah. Let me look up a picture of him.
He's the dark-haired guy that has the goatee, or not a goatee. He has the beard, and he kind of was. He jokes around a lot and stuff.
I feel like he
got a pretty good smile and stuff.
I feel like he is okay. I mean, he's not terrible. I certainly don't think he's.
I mean, if you look down the lineup of the 20 drivers, like I would guess most of them are over average, like above average in attractiveness. So are you gauging him against like the hottest people? Because
no, but like, what's his face? The English guy.
Lewis Hamilton.
Oh, he's fucking hot, man. He's so fucking hot.
He's got that like suave look, like the clean cut like jawline, and yeah.
He went to the Met Gala.
I mean, he does fancy shit. Like he does like stuff with Tommy Hilfiger and like fashion stuff. He's got like fashion sponsors. He wears like high fashion when he goes to races and he's dressed up.
Yeah, he's yeah.
I thought you were going to talk about Charles Leclerc, which is the other person that somebody mentioned to you.
Who's that? Charles
Leclerc. He's he lives in Monaco. He's Italian.
Is it McLaren?
Leclerc. L-E-C.
Leclerc.
It's spelled like Charles.
Leclerc. He's okay. He looks young.
Yeah, I think he's like 23 or something like that.
I wouldn't hit it, but it's fine.
Just a fucking millionaire driver. You know, one thing that you don't know about the Formula One drivers, like they don't talk about their money contracts. Like you know how common it is to hear about like football players making contracts and baseball players. Like maybe that's just an American thing, and they're just like more hush hush about it. I mean, you hear that they signed a new deal for like a year or 2 years, but you don't hear they're not like blowing out the numbers of what they're.
Well, Lewis, you can look it up online, but Lewis Hamilton, like his contract was like $30 million or something like that.
Probably, yeah. And then he's got all his sponsors. Is that including sponsorships and all that shit?
No,
not just like to drive?
No, that's just his fucking contract.
Oh my god.
He's the highest paid.
Well, yeah, he's won the most championships of anybody in history.
Oh yeah, he's the best. He's probably the best F1 driver ever.
Ever.
Yeah. But also he which is really cool is because he's he
has some leverage too. He just got all the records last year. Like
Yeah. Okay. Shall we?
We shall.
I will think of a I have a great question for you. We'll say, where would you want to go to an F1 race?
Okay.
Okay.
Now I'm kind of thinking of the track that would be fun because like some of them are more exciting than others.
Yeah, and then you think of a fun question for me.
Oh, now you're gonna put me on the spot.
You can think the whole time, and if you don't find one, I'll just say Monaco or something. I can't remember. I haven't seen that show in a while.
What show? Drive to Survive?
Yeah.
They have another season. I'm sure it'll come out here in a few months or something.
I'm sure it will.
Usually, like right when the season ends, I think it's about when they come out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Alrighty.
Alrighty.
Still a little test here.
I did my test.
A little 1, 2, 3 test.
Questions.
All right, I got a feeling I got a question in mind. Hi, Autumn.
Hi, Autumn.
Come here, girl. Come here. Come on.
Oh my gosh. Babs and Lloyd play hide and seek in the apartment. It's fucking adorable, but then they end up fighting. But still, it's cute.
Oh, there she goes.
Okie doke.
All right, I'm just gonna type it in here. Fuck it.
What's your question for me?
I'm not gonna tell you. I mean, it'll be in there, but I'll tell you at the end, or I'll ask it at the end.
Fine. I can't think about it. Oh, like if it didn't drop? Like
Yeah.
if it just magically generated money?
No, just think of like whatever you spend money on for that year. Like, where would you travel or do?
Like if money wasn't an option, where would you travel?
I mean, I'm kind of like basically saying like if you had basically a year free.
Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't say like unlimited money, but like
So if I had
within reason.
$40,000.
Sure.
Yeah.
If it was like you get this, yeah, $40,000, whatever, you just have to end up with the same amount of money that you started the year with.
Okay.
That way, we're not saying like you're going broke or anything, but
yeah, if somebody gifted you $40K,
you basically have a free year to do whatever with.
Yeah.
You know.
Cool. Do you want me to ask you that question too?
Not really. I don't know.
Okay.
I just thought that was interesting. Okay, if your bank account was this. Free 40K.
Oh my God, let's start. I think this one should only be an hour and a half. We're way late.
Okay. All right. Are we starting at the 20-second mark?
Yeah.
Autumn's just chilling up here.
Just chilling. Got it.
Live.
Live.
Ooh, holding it.
I was. Hi.
Classic. Hi.
How you doing?
Good. Autumn's my little shoulder
buddy.
Parrot here.
Yeah. Hi, Autumn. Well,
All
she can't
right.
hear me anyway.
Yeah, she cannot.
How was your day, Ryan?
It was work as usual, doing that,
Yes.
getting up at 9 a.m. kind of deal. Or starting at 9 a.m. Got some glazing done in the studio. I'm about to fill another kiln up. I announced my mystery box sale going live next week, so I think this will be out
Sweet.
before that. It's going live on the 21st of September,
Nice.
which is a Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And hoping to, I think I'm gonna pack up some mystery boxes beforehand just to like get ahead of it,
Okay.
because I assume a lot of people are just gonna buy one box and just kind of end it there. So I feel
Yeah.
like it would be good to just pack up like 10 to 15 and just say like this is a box that has firsts in it. This is a box that
Mm-hmm.
has firsts and seconds, and like label
Yeah.
them appropriately. And then it'll save me time when I actually need to pack them up,
Yeah,
because it was
totally. I did
crazy
that.
last time. Did
Yeah,
you?
I did that where, well, I didn't really pack them. I just put the stuff in the boxes.
Did you
Yeah.
already like individually wrap pieces and then you just had all the pieces wrapped? You just pulled
No,
from
I kind
wrapped
of, well,
pieces?
what was nice for me is I needed to know how many boxes I had. I think that you probably already know how many boxes you have, but like I didn't know how many pieces I was going to put in them, so I just like laid out all the boxes and just shoved pieces into them,
Yeah.
and then wrapped them once I got them. But it was still easier that way, other
Yeah.
than the last time where I like just pulled off of a shelf and just like randomly put shit in stuff.
Did you actually like sell them out quickly?
Oh my
Like
god,
your quantity? Because what I did last time was I just set it for like 30 boxes
yeah,
and then started packing immediately. And then inevitably I still have some left over the next day.
yeah.
So once I get all packed up, I get a look at like what I have left and I just like add 10 more to the quantity or whatever.
Yeah, this was during the TikTok craze, the TikTok moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I sold like 30 of them in like 10 minutes.
Okay.
So it was like a
Yeah, and then
total
you get overwhelmed because you're like, okay, 30 on the board. I gotta pack up 30.
right. And well, and it was like, okay, do I have enough for 30? And I was also doing the mystery boxes of the bisque too.
Yeah. But you weren't limiting the quantity. You were just filling an entire box. You weren't saying 3 to 5 pieces. You were
No, I
saying,
was. For the bisque one I was, and for the other one
oh,
I didn't really. So,
oh,
yeah.
okay, gotcha.
Yeah. It was a lot. It was a lot. Anyway, so sweet mystery box sale. That's exciting.
Yeah, I was talking with Rachel about it because we're closing potentially on the house on the 24th,
Mm-hmm.
and we're trying to figure out. I was like, I kind of want to do like the 23rd to give myself like 2 weeks ahead so I can actually tell people and like email my mailing list and let them know, since
Yeah.
I never email them, and then like give people time on like social to set the reminders and shit instead of giving them like 4 days notice. So yeah, we decided on the 21st. That way, I feel
Okay.
like that's a good buffer, like 3 days or so before we
Mm-hmm.
start hitting it. And I'm thinking about Rachel helped me with the photographs for the like carved mugs that are
Yeah.
seconds. And I'm thinking about announcing that they will be part of the same restock because I think I can get those ready too.
Nice.
So people can get mystery boxes as well as the seconds pieces that are mugs that are
Sweet.
carved. That
That'll
way
be
we just
good.
get all of it out at one time. Otherwise I'll
Yeah.
like wait and then we'll start moving shit. And then I'll be like, I gotta get rid of these, and then that's gonna
Yeah.
clog up the time in the evening. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's pretty much it.
Nice.
Trying to do less wet clay work. I want to call the wet clay to be done at the end of this month. Like no more wet clay for a bit until I'm working in the new studio
Yeah,
in
yeah,
wet
yeah.
clay. So
I think that's smart
yeah.
for sure.
So we'll see how that goes. But I'm like caught up on most other things. Like
Yeah.
I got one commission, and then I just got a wholesale today for a bunch of saucers, for like 45 saucers. That's for like somebody wants to use them for soap dishes. So I think I've got those ready to like finish glazing, and then all I got to do is finish them. So should be
Nice.
pretty sweet. So that's my
Sweet.
day. How about you?
Oh my god, today was so fucking weird. I was like,
Yeah,
I
why were
woke
you
up.
working so late?
Yeah, I don't know. I just got really distracted today for some reason. It was just like, I don't know. I fucking got to work at 10 a.m.
Are
10:30.
you are you doing more work with people being out, like you all are down a trimmer, or did you fill that position?
We're not. Oh yeah, because Josie got in a car crash.
No, I meant you had a trimmer that left.
Well, she hasn't left yet, so she's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But somebody you're down a person this
Yeah,
week?
we're down a person, but we're up a person too, up a couple, because we've gotten new people, and then we're hiring another new person next week. He's coming to start next week, and I would bet bottom dollar he listens to this podcast, but I don't know for sure. So, and then
it's just the heat. There's plenty of he's out there. You don't know.
You never know.
You don't know who we're talking about.
Yeah, you don't know. And then let's see. I don't know what happened today. I feel like.
Has the rest of your week been kind of on par? Today was just kind of an oddball day of work.
It's been a weird fucking week. It's been weird. Yesterday I trimmed. I always feel like Wednesdays are a little strange, but like we had lunch and then we came back and then I started. I started a little later than normal and I did crumbles. I mean, I threw 140 pieces today. It's not like I didn't make a ton of pieces, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I did 70 crumbles, and that took me longer than normal. And then I made these tall tumblers, like tumblers with thumbprints in them. And
like the cocktail cups kind of thing?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's this.
Oh, okay. So it is a tumbler, I gotcha.
Yeah, it's a tumbler, but it's tall. And yeah, they just took me a little bit longer than I thought. The clay was a little bit more firm than than I'm used to. My hands hurt a little bit more. And then I got distracted a little bit as well. I work much better after everybody leaves.
Yeah.
So
do most people leave at like a typical like 5 or 6 o'clock thing? Or
yeah, like 6, 5. And then I kind of like I talked to Abby for a little bit and we kind of worked together and yeah, so I mean I don't know when I started him. I don't know. It was just a waste of a day. But it doesn't matter because like I don't mind being there. It's just
yeah, it just took longer than you expected.
Yeah, it just took longer than I thought it would, and it was
That's fine. You're bound to have days like that, so.
Yeah, I'm like it's fine. I don't mind. Whoops.
I'll be unplugging your headphones, Becca.
Well, my headphones are twisting, and it's really bugging me. And I'm trying to like twist the thingy, but it's twisting my hair.
Yeah, don't do that.
I think I got it.
No good.
Okay. Yeah, so it was fine. And Rebecca got a kiln in this studio now. That's very exciting.
Yeah, I saw it outside. So that's one of the 5, I'm guessing, right?
That is one of the 5. It's a yeah, so that is a 27, 28. So 27
Damn, that's
inches
a big kiln.
Wide, 28. Yeah, it's a 10 cubic foot kiln. And so mine that I got is a 7 cubic foot kiln, which I'm kind of bummed about. I kind of like now I feel
which is still at the studio, I'm guessing, and is not at your studio yet.
No, but I talked to somebody and I'm going to borrow his trailer on Friday and I'm going to take it over to the studio. So I will be the last person to have my kiln installed.
But yeah. So there's 3 that are actually at Rebecca's studio for the Graves Co. Yeah. One of them is yours as well, and then one of them got to her second personal studio.
Personal studio, so 5 total. Oh, and this is exciting. I didn't even think about this. Wait, did I announce it? Did I announce that I would? No, I don't know if I did. Did I?
I don't think so. I don't know what you're announcing, but I don't think so.
The record?
No.
No. Oh, okay.
I was just thinking about you the other day, actually. We were talking to somebody and Rachel mentioned it. What are you? Yeah, Rachel, what are you talking about?
Shut up about it. She literally cannot shut up about it, and it's hilarious.
What did you tell her?
I told Rachel, and then she keeps telling everybody.
Oh, I mean, she just mentioned it in passing. I didn't know that this was like official or something.
Okay, anyway.
So what the hell are we talking about here?
So I've decided that I'm going to try to break the world record for throwing. And the last person that broke the
For
record,
throwing what?
throwing cups, I guess. Cups.
In an hour? The most
In an
cups in
hour.
an hour?
Most cups in
Okay.
the hour. And the last person that broke the record works at Sunset Hill Stoneware up in Milwaukee area, like Wisconsin. And he seems really cool. And his company like super backed him. And it was 212 in an hour. And so my goal is to beat that 212 in an hour. And yeah, so I can't do it with my personal wheel because it's too slow. Like the torque
So
is fast enough, but
I
it doesn't
gotcha.
stop slow enough. So Rebecca has a Shimpo Whisper here,
Yeah.
and she said that I could use it to practice on.
Nice.
So,
Okay.
and that way I could just come down from the shop, use the same clay, and just rework it, you know?
Yeah. So the news is you're starting to practice.
I'm starting to practice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're saying you actually told Rachel this in the last few weeks or something, and when she brought it up to whoever she was talking to,
Okay,
it was
so
because you talked to her about it?
no, remember I told you guys that I wanted to do the record, and then she was like, "We can make it a whole thing, have like a
Oh,
winery
right.
and like
Okay.
a woman's business." And I
I think that
told
was for our trip. We were talking about that
yeah, and
maybe.
I told Link that I wanted to do it, and she'll donate the clay from Kentucky Mudworks, and and I can be part of Graves Co. So it's like 3 women-owned businesses, so it was really cool. And
Find
then
like a local winery or
yeah,
something
and
to.
Rachel was like, "We should find a winery that's owned by a woman," and she's just really stoked about it, which I love because I love
She's
that
gonna be your event planner along with
yeah, like
whoever else.
I love that she's like more excited than I am.
Well, sometimes you kind of need that to
Yeah,
like and motivate you because
yeah, because I feel
sometimes
like if I
you're
don't
like,
do it, I'm
yeah,
gonna
if you
let
don't push
Rachel
me,
down.
yeah, you're
Yeah,
definitely like sometimes you need a little push
yeah.
to stick to something, you know.
But I decided a while ago that I wanted to do this. I just haven't had time to kind of like get going. And like Tim C said, if you need any help at all, let him know. And it would just be really fucking cool to have a woman be the title holder, even if it's for a short time, because I'm sure somebody's gonna be like, "Fuck you."
I mean, I feel like it gets. When did the last winner win it or do it?
2018
2018, and then
or 19, 18
before
or 19.
that was Cherico the winner
No,
before that.
no, it was 2017 before that, and then it was Cherico.
Okay, I
I
feel like
think.
his was like 2015. Like it was a while ago, right?
Yeah.
15, 16.
So, and the differences between like what's really cool about Sunset is that they donated all the cups that he made to the Girl Scouts, and they did like a fundraiser, and so that was cool. And they all looked really good. Like, you know,
Like he made that many, but they actually
they looked like
they look
solid
good.
cups.
Yeah.
They looked like solid cups, and they put their logos on them and everything like that. Certain people in the past who have beat the record did not make beautiful looking pieces.
Well, some of that is you know what the number is, so you know what you're shooting for. Just like if you beat it and you set it at 245 instead of
Whatever.
212, like they're gonna have to beat that. So they're gonna have to find efficiencies and
Yeah.
so
I'm just saying that
efficiency is part of it besides the
yeah.
what tools you use.
I'm just saying that the quality of product was really good the last time. So
Yeah. Well, I think part of it is the tools you use, like the wheel you use,
that's true.
the if you use a sponge, if you don't, if you use a
Yeah.
lot of water when you're throwing. I mean, all of that factors into it,
Yeah.
right?
And Jericho did his with a fucking kick wheel, which is phenomenal. Like, can you
Yeah.
imagine your legs at the end of that? Oh my god.
Yeah. Just get in the fucking groove. I mean, that's also part of it too. Like that you kind of
Yeah.
get into the groove, you know the re- repetitions and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Rachel brought it up a couple days ago, and she was like, "Yeah, she's gonna throw them," and then like she was talking about the bats, and I'm like, "You don't throw these on a bat, or you throw them on like one bat, but you're not taking the bat off." I'm like, "You're not spending an extra 6 seconds taking a bat off,
Mm-mm.
putting a bat on. You're throwing it, taking it off, like barely stopping the wheel."
Yeah. And you got to figure out how to get your hands and fingers under it so it doesn't like fucking warp it. And your clay
Hmm.
has to be firm enough but hard enough that you can take it off the wheel. And there's like specifications that you have to have. Like they have to be between, the rim has to be between 4 and 5 inches wide. It has to be wider at the top than at the base. It has to have some sort of a lip on the rim.
Hmm.
So whatever that may be, like with Sunset Hill, they just made it wider, which you can tell that somebody like who never did pottery wrote these fucking rules. And
Yeah, I mean, some of them looked like fucking planters. Like when I saw
yeah,
Cherokos, I thought they were planters. I didn't know
I
they
thought they
were.
were planters.
Yeah,
Yeah. Anyway,
I know,
but I
but you
mean, like
said
they don't say that
cups.
it has to be a
Something.
cup.
Yeah.
It just has to be a vessel that
Yeah.
is wider at the top than at the bottom. And if anybody's thrown anything, you know that that's actually easier. so,
Right.
so
Because it
it's like
naturally wants to go outward.
yeah,
So.
because naturally wants to go out. So anyway, but so
And it
the
has to be a
current
certain amount of weight or something, right? It has to be a pound and a
600
half.
grams.
Yeah.
I think it's 600 grams. Yeah. So that's about a pound and a quarter, I think.
It's plenty
And
of clay.
yeah, it's not a little bit of clay. I mean, it's certainly
Yeah.
a
You're
bit.
probably gonna do like a 2 pole thing or something and call
Hmm.
it.
Yeah, I've done a few quick practices of just like 1 piece, 2 piece, 3 piece, at a time. And the current record is at 17 seconds a piece. It includes the throw down, the pull off, all that shit.
Hmm.
Um, I've done it in 12, but you
Nice.
have to keep that consistency.
Yeah.
So, but we'll see.
It's definitely some body training in there too, I'm sure, and making sure that like your back doesn't kill you or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, it'll be nice to come down here with 50 pounds of clay and just kind of like go at it and just try short term, like,
Hmm.
throwing 10 at a time and seeing how fast you can do it 10 at a time and then
I think
progressively get.
that I think it'll be interesting to like document like are you trying to throw the fastest you can in 5 minutes and then do you scale it up to 15 minutes? Is it like a marathon where you run 3 miles and then you like the next day you run 5 miles and then you run like 7
Yeah.
miles?
I'll have
Like
to look. I'll have to do some research and see what the best approach is for a marathon because that would be a good comparison. You
yeah.
know?
And then
Yeah.
what do you do like your body wise? Like is it best to like the chair is probably good and then like
Hmm.
how high are you to the clay and like
Right.
do you have the clay on the right, the left?
Right. Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like what is beneficial for like Sunset Hill is that they make all of their wheels. They have like their own engineer that makes all their wheels, their tools, their stuff. And so and they sponsored the event essentially, so they paid for everything because you do have to pay some money to do it. And like yeah. And if you guys want to watch, all you have to do is search record like record throwing pots in an hour, I think, on Google. Guinness Book of World Records,
Yeah.
pottery.
You could probably look record pottery, Sunset
Yeah,
Hill or something like
yeah,
that.
it's on Facebook. They did a Facebook Live and they like narrated the whole thing. It was great.
Have a Wheel Talk exclusive. You get
Yeah,
live commentary while Becca's throwing.
yeah, and they also wrote an article on how to do it yourself if you wanted to. So they were just really cool about the whole process. I felt, you know,
Yeah, that's like challenge me. Come on.
kind of, but also just like try it yourself. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, why
That's a
not?
cool challenge to do and like
Yeah, I mean, he already has the record, and
yeah.
what's really cool is that he didn't know how to throw before working at Sunset Hill Pottery, and he'd been throwing for only 5 years.
Wow. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some amazing throwers that have only thrown for like a year or,
Right.
2 years or
Mhm.
all
Yeah.
right. We've been talking for almost
Fun.
20 minutes. We've been talking
Yeah.
for 20 minutes. Should we?
I mean, we were talking about pottery, so
I know.
yeah. Anyway, moving on.
I
What
think
are we
that'll
gonna
be
do
exciting for people to hear about. So
Yeah.
all right, so we're gonna do kind of a listener question episode. We got a list of, I don't know, what is this, like 15 maybe?
Sure.
We got a variety of them. There are technique related ones. There are business kind of related ones, art show related ones.
Yeah.
So we'll just kind of go down the list and see what we come up with. So
yeah, we like doing these ones because it's like everybody has these questions, and we always have a bunch of questions, and so
yeah. I feel bad sometimes because you get some questions and you feel like they get backlogged. I'm sure they kind of forget that they asked them because they're kind of doing us a favor by asking questions, but some of them are like time specific. They're asking for art shows coming up and they actually want to know the answer, and then hopefully they listen and actually hear their question. So
yeah, if we know that your question is time specific, we usually answer it personally in the chat. But
and messages, and then we'll actually talk about it on an episode in the future if we need to.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Ready?
Alrighty. Let's start at the top. First one, trying to figure out a better way to dispose of my dirty throwing water in my basement studio. Right now, I'm filtering it through a pillowcase, something I found online, but would love to know if there's a better way. I rent, so trying to find something that I don't need to do any plumbing for. That's from Saffron Ceramics.
Okay.
It's kind of like a no sink situation, right? Like you don't want to risk the plumbing.
Right.
So it says dirty throwing water, though. I mean, if it's just throwing water, I would be totally fine with just dumping that in the yard. But
well, it sounds like they're.
But if it's chunky and it's like reclaiming.
Yeah.
If it's reclaiming, I feel like it's kind of like our reclaim episode. Like I'd probably pour a plaster bat if you can, like a 1-inch plaster bat or 1.5-inch plaster bat, and reclaim it on there once a week or once every 3 weeks or something like that. Depending on how much you're throwing, that's what I would probably do. But if it's the water part, I would probably let it settle and then dump off the clean water in the yard and then collect the slop.
Yeah. I think this brings so many ideas in my brain, and I'm trying not to make them like what I
like worried that they got to do too many things, or
yeah, I'm trying not to be like, you should do this and this and this and this and this. Okay, so what I would suggest is, if you're really worried about plumbing situations, I don't know if you have a sink in your basement at all. My first thought was, oh, just do it, like pour it in a sump pump. But if you don't have a sump pump, then don't do that. But yeah, I've always thrown mine in the yard. But if you don't have a yard, I think that what I would probably do is
I feel like you have to collect it and let it dry out or something and then throw it in the trash.
Yeah. That's what what I'd probably do is this, especially, well, now that winter's approaching, which just kind of makes it difficult, but sometimes people's winters are super dry. So, like, yes, a pillowcase sounds nice. I think that I'd probably actually get a planter and plug the hole up with a cork or something and pour it in a planter and then put that in an alternative bucket so it kind of like seeps out the water but keeps the clay in the planter. I would try that. Just because an earthenware planter
it'll let the water filter through it. Is that what you mean?
It should let the water filter through. That's what
I was thinking you were going to say fill it up with all the slop, and then you could probably dump the slop onto something to dry out. But I thought you were just going to say get a cheap like terracotta $1 planter, dump it, fill it up, and then when it dries out, like dump it in the trash or throw the planter away with all the crap.
No. I was thinking more you could probably use that as some sort of like a filter to get the water out, but because then it will filter it clean. But also, obviously, I think, pouring it in just a 5-gallon bucket and letting the top water come up, and then what you could do is just transferring them to new buckets. Like if you had a 3-bucket system, you could do, pour it in initially, pour off the top water to that one into the other bucket, and then let that one settle and pour off another one into like a 1-gallon bucket, and then dump that in the sink. And then once you have all of your slop in that 1-gallon bucket, then you could take it outside. If you needed it to dry, pour it on some fucking cardboard, put it out in the yard or put it out on your deck, let it dry and trash it. Or you could reclaim it.
Yeah.
The pillowcase is a great idea for reclaim, just in general. I've never used it for...
Yeah, I would assume if they're filtering it through a pillowcase, they probably have a tree to hang that over or something outside. They have some kind of yard or something to hang the pillowcase, because if you live in an apartment, I'm guessing you're not hanging a pillowcase in your apartment and letting it drain
do it in
into
your
a sink.
basement. You could hang it in your basement over a bucket.
That's true. Okay. You got some options.
Yeah, I mean, if you're really worried about it, put a bucket. If you have a bucket outside, put it outside, and just make sure it's not in the rain's way, and just pour it out and let it evaporate. You know, that's also a good option.
That's an option. Yeah.
But
All right. Yeah, definitely keep the amount of stuff out of the sink if you can. Even if you're like rinsing your hands off, like just keep a 5-gallon bucket with like clean water on the side and like wipe your hands off with a big like car wash sponge or something, or one of those wide yellow ones, and just clean your hands off in that bucket and make sure all the stuff settles to the bottom.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's so many options. I mean, you can also look at clay trap systems. You know, if you do have a sink down there, you could look at clay trap systems, and that would help significantly for
And some DIY versions too.
Yeah, there's super cheap DIY versions if you have the right size sink and stuff, or a Glyco trap, which is only $100, and they work great too. So
yeah,
that's what I would probably recommend. Glyco trap, they use them for dental offices for plaster, and so but that's what I used in my studio, and we barely put anything down the sink, but it still found its way.
Is that something you could, if you leave the place, you can disconnect and take with you and reconnect the old stuff easily?
Yeah, absolutely. And they say you're not supposed to reuse the buckets, but it comes with like 2 buckets that you can like screw in, and
because you're just gonna dump out whatever's in them, right? And then it's clean.
I always used to dump it out and throw some bleach in there, and then bleach it out, and then just put the other one back on. So,
yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
They work got plenty of options.
They're not amazing, but they do work quite well. So
cool.
Cool beans.
All right. Fold over ceramics. What do you hate that most people love? This could be clay related. This could be not clay related.
Should we do a clay related and a not clay related?
I'll let you start clay related because I had a non-clay related ready, but
okay. Clay related. I hate gold luster. Okay, moving on.
I don't. Most people love. I hate trimming feet on mugs.
Boom.
I don't think it's necessary at all.
There you go.
I don't know if most people love it. I don't know if it's potters that love it or customers that love it, but I just think it's overkill. I don't think a trimmed foot is necessary on everything.
I can get down with that. Okay. What do you hate that most people love in daily life?
Seltzer. Like sparkling anything. Get the fuck out of here. Flavored sparkling water, you're drinking, that's bullshit.
It's terrible, honestly. I was telling him before
I hate sparkling anything. Oh my gosh.
Somebody left these Trulies in my fucking my refrigerator, and I'm like, couldn't you have brought beer or something?
Was it at least a mixed pack or something? So like there's some different flavors in the mix?
Raspberry lime and blueberry acai or acai or whatever.
Acai, I think is how you say it.
Or they're just not good. They're just not good.
Just not this whole craze of the seltzers. I just don't get it.
I like bubbly water. I love bubbly water, but I'm more of like a lime bubbly water or a lemon bubbly water, and that's about where I draw the line.
Yeah.
And I'm not a LaCroix fan. LaCroix.
LaCroix. Oh my gosh.
Did I tell you that story about LaCroix?
No.
I was at Val Flynn's husband, and I were at Safeway in Whidbey Island, which is this like hoity-toity kind of island in Washington. And he loves LaCroix. And he he was like down the aisle from me, and I was like, "Did you get your LaCroix?" And I'm like yelling it down the aisle from Safeway. He's like, "Yeah, I got my LaCroix." And this guy could not handle it, and he was like in between us, and he goes, "It's pronounced LaCroix."
Man,
And we're like, "We know."
fucking LaCroix snob over there.
We're like, we're joking.
Can't even handle a joke, man.
Can't even handle a fucking joke. Things that I hate that normal people love. Oh, well, this kind of goes for you. I hate coffee. I'm not a fan of coffee.
I don't like coffee either. I just
Yeah.
never got this. It smells good.
Yeah, I think it smells good. I mean, I'll drink it occasionally, but like very, very occasionally.
Same with beer. Fuck beer.
Yeah, you don't like beer. I love beer.
And I don't like anything vinegary. Pickles, get that shit out of here. You
I
like
love
pickles
all
and stuff,
of
don't
it.
you?
All
I
of
wonder
it.
if that. I wonder if that's like a taste bud thing. Do you think that's like a? I feel like it's a love or hate thing, right?
Maybe.
Like, there's not people that are just like, like nobody that just randomly like kind of likes pickles, like has a pickle jar and they just go in there like unscrew it and just like eat a couple pickles. Like that just doesn't seem common unless you just fucking love them.
I love pickles. Yeah. You know, I have a friend that hates pickles but likes other pickled things.
Ugh.
Oh, I know. I hate hiking.
Like the act of hiking or the destination of hiking, like the reason you're hiking, which is to be like outside and like seeing scenery and stuff, or just like the physical act of hiking.
I don't understand why you would walk up a hill to walk back down it.
It's because of the experience. It's like you're getting exercise, you're in the fresh air, you're tuned out from the phone and stuff. I mean, you might take pictures when you get to a destination, but it's like, hey.
Well, I have an excuse as well because I can't hike.
I feel like that was part of the reason you don't like it, because you like have ankle problems and stuff. Like you can't physically do it because of your joints.
I'm more of a stroller anyway. Like I feel
Like if you
like
could be in a stroller and somebody pushes you,
no, I'm just saying like if I could
an
stroll up a
adult
hill
stroller.
or
It's called a
stroll
wheelchair, Becca.
if I could stroll up the hill, you know, like frolic up a mountain,
Like
I would
like
much
a skipping.
I don't know. Like I just feel like hikers are so intense. They're like, "Ooh, we have to go hike, 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 hike." Maybe
I
it's because
mean, but I feel like they're not pushy about it though. I feel like they're like I like to hike. They're not
you've
like,
never lived in
let's
Washington.
when we go travel somewhere, we're going on a hike. Like I'm coming to travel, I'm going on a hike. I gotta set aside 4 hours. And if you want to go, you can go, or otherwise I'm not gonna see you. Like, is that a thing?
Oh yeah.
Really?
People in Washington, all they do on the weekends is hike.
Okay.
Hike, 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 hike. Hike.
Is it like, and they probably hike a lot of the same places they always hike, right?
No, there's so many different places to go.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like a fucking cult. Okay, moving on. What is the best slash worst time a cat has gotten into your pottery stuff and made a mess, destroyed things? I know Becca has a few stories, but I haven't heard really any from Ryan.
That's from Ashley at Boldover. That's because my cats are well behaved. They don't get in my shit. I would say probably just like what?
Ouch. My cats don't steal sandwiches out of people's hands, okay?
Oh my gosh, I fucking had a Chipotle burrito. I sat on the counter the other day, and then I like went over and threw something away. Marble got a hold of it, and I like grabbed at the burrito, and she like moved her head away, and the whole thing, it was like a third of a burrito just stuck in her mouth, and I tried to grab it, and then she's like flailing around, and I have to like grab her and then like grab the thing and rip it out of her mouth, so she had a big chunk in her mouth still. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, my cats are well behaved.
Okay, in the studio they're well behaved.
My cats are well behaved too. They're just kind of Floyd was just kind of dumb.
Like
Okay.
kind of klutzy and
He was kind of klutzy, and it really wasn't his fault. Lloyd is so good about pottery. Like, he would step between things. So was Tidbit. She was super, super good. Floyd, on the other hand, not very smart. And the only thing that everybody consistently ever messed up was plates, because they couldn't tell that the plate wasn't
Because
clay.
it's just flat, right?
It's
So
just
it's like
flat, so
they
they'd
can't
step
tell. Yeah.
But Floyd uh would climb on the wall. It was either Floyd or Lloyd, I don't know. But um he really liked plastic, so I'd have to cover up the mugs, right? With plastic, but then Lloyd really likes plastic, so he'd like try to get in it and play with it. So then I'd cover it up with a piece of cloth on top of it, like a
Mm-hmm. Canvas or
like,
something like that.
yeah, something like that. And so I did that with a towel once when I made that little studio in the back, and it was like a 6 foot by 20 foot studio and little studio in my big studio. And one of them climbed up on the wall and then jumped on the towel, not knowing that there was cups under it, and he fucking walked all over these cups. There was probably, you remember the stack?
Yes. The stack
Oh,
that you just threw a pile.
yeah, it was probably a stack of 40 cups.
Yeah.
It was.
I can see that. Like, cats will just see, like, there'll be a fucking napkin sitting on the counter, and she'll like do a little kitty loaf on the napkin. I'm like, that's a fucking napkin. Like, there's nothing for you to benefit from laying on this.
Yeah, he like just didn't know. There was no place for him to come down on the table. Like, he was up on the wall. Like, there was no option
Yeah.
for him. So I don't blame him by any means, but that was the worst
I
for
mean,
sure.
mine would probably be like they might jump up on a board that I had, balanced on a couple things, and then you have a spot that like if there's too much weight, it's gonna flip the board up a little bit.
Yeah.
I probably had that once, but
Yeah.
nothing like catastrophic.
Yeah. One time Floyd laid down in a pallet full of underclays.
Oh my gosh.
He had blue all over. I had to wash him off so many times. He also accidentally fell in the reclaim, and
Oh, that would be a mess.
yeah, there was little paw prints all over. And then Tidbit fell in the white glaze ones.
Oh my gosh. Which we talked about on a past episode.
Yeah, and
That's a good one.
She was just flew all over my house. It was so funny. Yeah, those are mine.
All right. What's the next one?
What's something you enjoy that others may not know about you? Ryan?
I fucking love stand-up comedy.
Oh, yes, you do.
Man, I've been looking on websites lately to see local comedy clubs that we can go see stand-up comedy. I was thinking about looking at Indianapolis to see there actually is a comedy club near you.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, we should go.
It'd be fun. There's some near me. We're actually going to see Theo Von this weekend, which should be good. Yeah. I've been listening to this like comedy podcast the last like 3 weeks or something called Kill Tony. You probably don't know what that is, but it's like it's a weekly live podcast, and they have like
Oh, fun.
they just randomly pick names out of a bucket for people that sign up for that night.
Oh,
Could
nice.
be like 80 people, and it could be people that just started comedy for their first time, or it could be people that have been doing it for years. And it's
That's
like
cool.
they get 1 minute to do whatever comedy they want, and then they like interview them after they do their 1 minute. And it could be
nice.
fucking terrible, or it could be really good. And then normally they have like a guest comedian that is at the table with them and like talking with them, giving them advice or whatever after. And then they have people that are regularly on there. So I've listened to like 30 of those episodes in the last 3 weeks or something. So that's been pretty entertaining. I want to go to some comedy here soon.
Yeah. This is kind of weird, but you know this, but I don't think a lot of other people don't know this. I don't have a TV. Well, we kind of talked about this last week, but I don't have a TV or internet in my apartment. and I like being disconnected and just kind of like chilling out in my apartment. And I think that a lot of people, and I love movies and stuff, but just ever since I've been to Indianapolis, I've kind of like really enjoyed not.
Did you used to have a TV in Washington? Like, would you watch it? And you probably didn't have a TV in the studio, right?
I've never owned a TV in my adult life.
Really?
Yeah. One of my roommates had one.
That's fucking great.
For maybe like, they had one for maybe like 3 months, but it wasn't mine, and I barely ever watched it. So, yeah, but I've never owned a TV. I don't know why. It's great. I mean, yeah.
I mean, that's good.
Yeah, it's like weird because when you say stuff like that, it seems like a negative, but it's actually not. It's pretty positive. So
who would think that's a negative?
Dude,
well, actually, I mean, I could see people that think it's a negative because they're like, "Where's your TV? Like, can we watch something?"
Yeah, like
sorry, I don't have internet. Sorry, I don't have a TV.
Come over to my house and they're like, this one guy was like, "You should have a TV here for your guests." And I'm like, "What the? Well, first, no."
Have you heard of a fucking laptop?
Or have you heard of talking? Like,
yeah.
Like when we don't watch TV at all when I come over to your house.
Yeah. We don't really. We talk, we play games, we eat, and
your dad watches TV, but that's
conversation. It. Yeah, he'll usually watch football or something, or
or
we've been like playing music on the TV. Like, you don't need a TV to play music. You can just play it on your whatever. Like,
on my phone. Yeah, like I still play music and stuff, but I like to read and I'm kind of like getting back to like the simple life of things, which has been really great. So that's something that I actually enjoy that a lot of people don't know about me. So
that's overwhelmingly a positive thing.
Yeah. Hooray! Okay, that was from you probably.
I actually put that question in there because I wanted to talk about stand-up comedy or F1.
Or F1. Do you think it's worth it to pay to promote your work on social media? That's from Mudslinging Pottery. Jody.
I've only done it a few times. I think the one beneficial thing to promote that I've seen value out of is when I do like an individual show, like the Backyard Craft Show that is very homegrown. It's not something that's been around a while that people already know about. That's where I think promoting it is good. But it's really just promoting the event. It's not like a random post and I'm promoting a post. So like that, or promoting my like home studio sale. Like, I'll pay $100 and throw that on Facebook ads for a couple weeks or something. Like, I think that's beneficial.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not a fan of paying for a promotion. I'm a fan of seeing your face, and that usually gives you more promotion than anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. How do you keep the cats from messing around in or drinking your throwing water? Aletha Bean.
Mine don't mess with my throwing water.
I just let mine drink them.
I mean, they've got ample water upstairs and stuff. They just don't really like, they're not like, some cats will be like, if you turn the faucet on, they're like licking the water as it's coming out of the faucet. Like, there's some cats like that, or they'll just drink any random cup of water that's out there.
Lloyd is that cat.
Aren't really like that.
Lloyd is definitely that cat.
Because Lloyd like drinks off your beer or something that's like got liquid on the
Lloyd outside, would fucking love this truly, okay?
Or drinking Bev. Lloyd drink Bev.
He loves alcohol, but all the cats have drank alcohol, or not alcohol, throwing water.
Did they ever like drink the water out of your like reclaim and stuff, like the big reclaim buckets and stuff? Because those are like big vats of reclaim with water on top.
Yeah, those are like big vats of fucking algae. No, usually it's just the individual buckets. Like if I left a bucket out on the hand building table and some clay had fallen to the bottom, they'll drink the top.
Okay.
If the clay
if it's settled, it's really not that big of a deal.
Yeah, it's really not. And there's a bunch of, there's a bunch of nutrients in the clay anyway. It's fine.
Is that true?
Yeah, sure, why not?
It sounds like you're making that shit up, but I don't know.
But like they've never like Lloyd drinks so much fucking water, so much water. And so I
I
just
think
never
that's a
had.
good thing.
Yeah, it's great. I just never thought it was even a bad thing. I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." Like clay water. Cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
All
I
right.
drank clay water on accident. We've all drank clay water, let's be real.
I've not, maybe, but I don't know. What are your favorite and least favorite things to make from Pennington Design?
Yes. She's from Washington. She was one of my students.
Nice.
Um favorite
Also,
thing to make is wine glasses for me. You?
favorite shot glasses right now.
Shot glasses.
Love
Least
it.
favorite.
Probably plates.
God, I fucking hate plates. I have
It's
a
just like I think it's the price point. Like I can't. For one, they take up so much space, but like selling them, I feel like is never easy. You'll get people. I'm much happier not putting any plates on the table because I get way less questions of, "Hey, I'm kind of interested in like a set of dishes. Like, can we make that happen?" Like, I'm happy to not have plates out anymore because I basically have had zero of those questions this year by not
yeah.
having plates on the table.
Yeah, I actually still have to make a place setting from one of my customers back in Washington. I was like, I'll do it when I get my kiln, but I still haven't gotten my kiln, so
Yikes. You still
yeah.
have your plate racks though, right?
I gave them to Rebecca.
Oh, okay. Did
Yeah.
you say your least favorite?
My least favorite is probably specifically the Hurley plate, which is from work. It's a
Is it the one
slab.
that's a slab? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a slab. I mean, actually, no. You know what? That's a lie. I actually enjoy throwing them. What I hate about them is that they're so finicky. Um,
How does that like? Is that's a slab that's a certain thickness, and you throw it on the wheel head, and you or the bat, and you have to like attach it
you can press it down, and then you cut off the rim so it's circular, and then you take a 45-degree tool,
and undercut it and like lift it up.
undercut it, and then you take your sponge under it and lift it up. But you got to slow down the wheel while you're lifting it up, and you have to have no water on the clay so that there's enough um, friction so that there's torque in it. So it's
Mm.
it's a process. It took me so long. I remember when I first did these plates and I almost cried. I was so fucking mad at like just everything. Like Rebecca showed me how to do them and I was like, "Okay, cool." And then I tried to do them and I messed up 4 in a row and I ran over to Rebecca and I was like, "I don't know how to do these plates. I'm so frustrated."
It seems like it would be really hard to make sure the clay stays stuck to the bat.
It's not that hard.
But like
The
the
clay's pretty wet.
undercutting, is it the
Yeah.
undercutting and stuff? Yeah,
When you compress it down, it stays pretty well. And you have to wet the bat first to make sure
I
it
gotcha.
stays. Yeah. But yeah, I pretty much hate those the most. And Hurley is the name of a distant relative of the customer that we make the plates for. It's like her grandpa or something like that. And I'm like, fucking Hurley is a fucking ghost right now and he's haunting us. And
Oh,
and
I thought
like,
it was like the snowboard manufacturer Hurley.
no. Nope. Okay.
All right, what's next question?
420 friendly? Question mark?
Yeah, because it's my birthday.
That's
No,
right.
I've literally never smoked weed before.
I have smoked weed, however, it has never been a great experience. But I think that both of us agree that we don't give a shit if you smoke weed or don't. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really care.
Like, I think it's great. You know, my sister uses it for medicine stuff, and like lots of my friends smoke weed. So I have no issues with it. I just don't smoke it.
Yeah. I had in Denver, I had like one of those edible cookie things once, and then
Yeah.
maybe a couple gummies or something, and that's it.
Yeah. Me and weed just are not friends. So,
Yeah, I didn't really have just nothing really happened, I don't think, but
yeah.
all right, another one from Chicken Chit Ceramics.
Mm-hmm.
Who has your favorite guest been, and who are you wanting to get on the show? I feel like we've kind of answered this in the past,
Yeah.
but who has your favorite guest been? I'll go.
Okay.
I'll say Leanne, favorite guest, and then wanting to get on the show is Florian Gatsby.
I really enjoyed Link. Oh, but Heidi. Heidi was my favorite. Heidi was my favorite.
Just the awkwardness and the how is this going? And then I just don't know. It's like, come on.
I laughed that entire episode. I fucking love Heidi so much. She was my favorite, and I would really. I can't remember who I said who I wanted. I can't remember.
I feel like you said somebody. You said Joe from
Was
Old
it
Forge.
Joe? Yeah, I wouldn't mind talking to Joe. Yeah.
Yeah. The one thing about the Heidi one, I honestly, when we got done with it, I was like, that wasn't the best interview episode. And then I listened back to it and I was like, that was pretty enjoyable actually. It was hard in the moment because you're trying to keep the conversation going, and then it's just let those moments kind of ride a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's just it's funny.
If you don't talk to Heidi on a regular basis, you aren't prepared for who she is. She's a very thoughtful person, and she's she's just who she is, and she's herself, and it's fucking great, and that's the best. And you haven't really talked to her on the phone or anything, so you had no idea what to expect.
Yeah. I mean, when you just follow somebody and you kind of know their personality a little bit, but you don't talk to them on a regular basis, and you don't talk except through replying to things that they do. Yeah. And it's a quick back, forth, back, and that's it. You don't really get much about their personality. So.
Yeah. I love this next question, Aletha. This is from Aletha Bean. It says, silicosis safety aside, because we all know, what's some unsolicited advice you always want to give but don't?
Aletha Bean, most valuable questionnaire.
Yes.
Do you have one? I kind of have one.
Mine is just the whole wheel setup. I fucking hate it when people have their water bucket on the left side of their wheel and they're right-handed. If you're reaching into your water bucket with your right hand across your wheel to the left side, don't. Just don't. Just fucking don't. You're making your life so much fucking harder.
I don't know if this is a pet peeve, but I just thought of one that's process related. When people use those tiny ass trimming tools that are about a quarter of an inch wide and they're trimming a big fucking piece, what the fuck are you doing? Use a trimming tool that is an inch wide or something that has some fucking surface area. That's my unsolicited advice. I guess that probably came off like a dick, but I mean,
mine's
you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, I so know what you're talking about. Yeah, mine's just the way wheels are set up. That was a very specific example, but when Merritt started at the studio, she's our newest production thrower. She was there for a week. And everybody let her get situated. And I think that somebody may have warned her, but I don't know if they actually did. I walked up and the first thing I did was, this is wrong. You need to fix this. And and I just I was like, you need a table right next to you. You're reaching too far. It's not going to help you. And I just changed your whole setup.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I mean, some of it's some things work for some people, but also if there's no thought to it and you just put things and you're just wasting energy.
Yeah.
And you're you work in a studio that efficiency and keeping your body in a good state so that you can do this for a while is important. So you being able to say, hey, you should adjust this, this, and this. Yeah. It's going to help you out so much more is worth saying.
Well, and I'm the lead potter too. So me going in and telling her to change something, completely appropriate.
Yeah. That's not unsolicited in that manner.
In that regard. But if I was at somebody else's studio, I would never fucking say that. I would just let them do whatever they want to do.
The only other thing that came to my mind was this might come across as a dick, but sometimes when you're at shows and you see like glazes people use that are just like they just are so stark and like I don't know, I'm sure there's a customer base for certain like glaze colors, but it's like there's not much interest to it that it's like get something that has some variation to it or like instead of just doing a solid color like bright yellow or something or bright red like I don't know. I just
That's a
can't
personal opinion,
I
Ryan.
don't know. I just don't. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say like you need to do this, but it's like that's something that's like you could sell to so many more customers if you put a couple colors together that were interesting, that
Mm-hmm.
would appeal. That's not something that is because like solid colors says to me that like you could buy something at a store that is a solid color piece.
Mm-hmm. Do you
Like
know
you
what?
have the benefit of the glazes and the interaction and stuff that adds some interest
Yeah.
that you could just, that's my only other thing that came to mind. But
Yeah. Do you know what Larry Bruning always said? An interesting shape should have a simple glaze, and a simple shape should have complex glaze.
okay, maybe it's a combination of I see the glaze that's simple and the form is not as good, so it's like it just draws the attention to it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's why these
Mm-hmm.
are standing out in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
All
I
right,
love this next question too. What's the deal with pour overs, and do people even fucking use them?
chicken chip ceramics, bringing in the heat. I've
um,
never used a pour over, but I don't drink coffee.
I've made pour overs and sold them, and people do use them. Yes, a lot of people use them. And
That's good because I have some of my mystery boxes that some people are going to be getting because I made a sample of like 15 of them
yeah,
and
well,
I
they have to work
never,
well.
well, I mean, I've used a couple. I kind of got the whole dimension right, but yeah, hopefully they'll get some use out of them and I
Yeah, I
just
mean,
it's one of those things I made and I never feel confident enough and like happy enough with it that I wanted to bring it out at a show and sell it because
yeah,
I'm like, I don't know that I want to go down this road of making these.
yeah. I know many, many potters that make pour overs and do very well making pour overs,
Yeah.
or and have done well making pour overs. So yes, people do buy them and people do use them frequently. Um, but they are hard to make right.
Yeah. It's not just throwing a fucking cone and putting a hole in the bottom.
Yeah. Joe from Old Forge Creations has a template for his that he made with Hartley Noble that you can buy. So
Hmm. Does he carve or anything on the inside so that it actually has some like air to flow?
I don't know, but you should.
Because that's some of the factors that came into mind that it can't like glug 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 because there's no air that's displacing as the liquid
Yeah.
is going. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Next question. How do you decide on what glazes to test? Do you mix different oxide percentages or go based off of others' successes? NZ Design Studio.
I kind of laughed at this a little bit because I'm like, I don't really venture out with glazes that much. But
I
when I
know.
have, I basically just pulled them from the John Britt book and then adjusted a couple things if I needed to. But
Yeah, I think that we are not the correct people to ask this question because we are not testers. Uh as much as like say like a Hammerly Ceramics or John Britt or
yeah, like
somebody who's
Dante likes to make a lot of glazes at Earth
yeah.
Nation. I'm just not that interested in the chemistry and the oxides
Yeah.
and the making of glazes that much. I'm just like, what works? If I get a new one in the mix, I'm probably gonna pull it out of the John Britt book, and it's probably gonna be, hey, I want a cool, you know, red or raspberry or something,
Yeah.
and I'll find
I
one that might be cool.
yeah,
But
I definitely searched the John Britt book and picked like 12 out that I liked and then tested all of them. And like some of them didn't work at all. Like I remember I did a chartreuse that I was so stoked about and it shivered like like
yeah,
magic. It shivered right off. um but but yeah, I think I tested mine such a long time ago and I didn't test with different oxides and I am one of those this should work. I'm like Isaac. Like Isaac is testing some pieces right now, like with glazes, and he's like, "Well, I'll just test a $120 vase with this," and like I'm totally like that. So, um,
I don't think he was mixing those glazes. I think those are glazed out of the bucket. He just
yeah,
didn't
but
know how they were going to interact.
yeah, he didn't know how they were going to interact. But yeah, no, Isaac has all my glazes. Isaac. Um, uh, anyway, yeah, so I never did that. And I don't know why, but for some reason, glaze chemistry came very natural into me because I think it was more of like a art, like for some reason, the oxides,
oxides were just like paint
they just,
to you.
yeah, they just kind of made sense in my head. So like when I did a green, I was like, oh, I'm gonna do some yellow iron oxide with some cobalt, and that turned out this like beautiful like olive green. And
Why wouldn't you use like copper carbonate?
why don't you just shut the fuck up and like let me be me? And
You could do either. I'm just saying.
copper carbonate wouldn't make
I've
it the green that I have.
I've never used a yellow ochre or oxide, so I've only used like cobalt carbonate and copper carbs and
Yeah.
chrome oxide, maybe a little bit, but
Yeah, I'd like, and yeah, so I've kind of just done tests, and there's been a few that, yeah, you do like a certain percentage just to see if there's more, like, but usually I don't do more than 3. And also make sure you're testing your pieces in pieces that make sense. So like test tiles are great, but I always test in little small bowls because I want to see how they're going to look on my throwing lines because that matters. So
yeah, or
keep
throw
that in
like
mind.
shot glasses or something that's not just a
Yeah.
simple. Did you see Kurt was making those like molds, and then he was selling the molds, and people could pour their slips into it and stuff,
Yeah,
and
that's
make.
fucking dope.
That's pretty cool. He said he had some trouble with it. I don't know if it was shipping it or what, but yeah, it's pretty cool.
Oh, we haven't done the what if segments recently. Anyway, grog or no grog? Which do you prefer and why? And then they say also, I love the what if segments.
We didn't do a what if recently. No. Chicken shit, bringing it. I
Yeah.
am actually with. I would say I like the look. If it's just the form itself, I like the look with grog personally, but I'd rather throw without grog because I like the metal rib stuff, and I think the metal rib with the grog forms just looks good than with no grog. But no grog is smoother to throw with, so.
I am a firm believer in no grog.
Like for your throwing thing, or are you gonna throw with no grog? I feel like it's probably gonna be best, right?
No, I'll probably throw with grog actually.
Really?
Because it'll be stronger.
Okay. I'm guessing you'll get a choice of your Mudworks clay, so you'll have to figure out which clay.
Yeah, I'm wondering if I should do Iceman with grog. It'll either be Iceman or Iceman with grog.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah.
I can tell you it won't fucking be Big Turtle.
I was about to suggest Big Turtle. No. Oh man.
No, I mean it might actually end up being Big Turtle, but I think it's too soft.
What about no, Darkstar doesn't have any grog in it. It's got the specs, but it's not groggy.
Yeah, and I mean like I just need a clay that's sturdy
what about like
enough.
White Bear? Isn't White Bear grog? Doesn't White Bear have grog in it?
White Bear doesn't have grog. It's more like Brown Bear. I just need something sturdy enough that I can pick up and move. You know?
Yeah. I feel like Iceman with grog would probably be good. It's like fine grog, I think. I've never thrown
it is
with it, but I've seen it.
Yeah, I was throwing a bunch of cups today, and like my pointer finger, no, my ring finger is just like wearing down.
But one thing to remember, I guess, is your water's gonna go a longer way with no grog than if you do have grog. So you might have more torque with groggy clay, right? Like you're gonna have to reapply water, so that could be a
that's a
factor.
good fucking point. So maybe no grog, yeah. This is gonna be fun. Okay. Any tips on getting an even trimmed bottom?
Fat bottom mugs make the rock and wheel go round. Or do you want to sing it?
Bottom mugs, they make the rockin'
Rockin'
wheel
wheel
go
go
round. That bottom mugs, they make the rockin' wheel go round. Okay, moving on.
I don't think that's gonna come through like with us in sync, but it sounded in sync when I sang it. But I don't think it's going to.
Any tips on getting an even trimmed bottom? Well, I don't know for sure what they mean by even trimmed bottom, but center your piece. That's big. Make sure your piece is centered. Do you have an idea?
I don't know. I mean, all of my mugs are flat. I just cut them off the wheel, and then I just use my thumb on the bottom edge to smooth it out. But if I'm trimming, when I first learned to trim, I was always taught that you never touch the actual foot. You never trim the actual foot that's going to be flat on the table. You leave that flat because you know that was flat on the wheel. And you trim away the outside part and the inside part, and you leave that portion untouched.
Oh,
unless I like make a nick out of it or something. But and then at the end, if I do want to smooth it, I'll take a yellow Mud Tools rib and like smooth it. But I'm not touching the actual flat portion that is the actual foot. If I'm trimming a foot on a bowl or something like that, that's how I was taught, and that just made sense to keep it flat.
No, it does.
But that's also given that your rim is flat. Otherwise, it could be a little wonky, but
I think that also it matters to not trim your pieces too wet. I think that that's something that can be a huge when you're a student, when you're new, you're rushed to trim something, and it's really important to get it when it's not super fucking wet, because if it's super wet, you can move the bottom down and that makes it uneven while you're trimming. It happens all the time. And so make sure your pieces are actually leather hard and they're not too wet. You want them almost too dry as opposed to too wet, I would say. And if you are having issues with the bottoms being flat, you can put a bat on top of it and tap it twice or 3 times or whatever, just like a quick, like that type of tap. And that can flatten out that bottom if you do have an issue with it not being flat.
Yeah. One other thing, if this is your situation, if you're taking something off of a bat that you threw it on, you cut it and you picked it up off of the bat, and maybe it like stuck a little bit in the middle, I always take that off and then I will flatten that on a piece of drywall or something. It's not going to stick, and I push that back flat. That way it goes back to a flat instead of like I'm not touching that with my hand. I'm letting a wide surface that has a big surface area that's going to flatten it on its own. It's going to naturally go back to where it was.
Yeah.
Instead of fiddling with it and touching it and stuff like that. Yeah.
It also matters what you're trimming on. So like, if you get a Giffen grip, that's usually going to center your piece. It's kind of, people think it's cheating, whatever. It's a tool. Use it if you want. You don't if you don't. I use a foam bat if I'm trimming anything wide or small.
I do as well.
Yeah, and did you use a foam bat before you knew me?
Before I knew you, no. When I first started trimming, I had a speedball bat, and then I did the wet the rim, suction it to the bat, and then trim it, and then pop it off.
Yeah, I would I used to do it that way too.
Pick it up and pop it off. I didn't really do I did the lugs before that, but that was probably like 5 years ago.
Yeah,
and then I did the sticky bat.
Sticky bat is okay. I don't like that the clay sticks to the sticky bat.
But it depends on how wet the clay is. I don't usually like sponge my rim before I stick it down. Ideally it would be leather hard or wet of leather hard, so it's not really gonna.
About the trimmings.
Okay. Yeah. Well, my sticky bat was like 8 inches, so it wasn't really that big.
Okay, nice. Yeah. And I also I would make my own trimming bats when I used to suction the rim with it's that really, really thin foam. It's like maybe like half a centimeter.
Like what you would get in a cone pack box?
No. it's not even foam. It's that like, it's like the super dense like.
Is it
I
what
don't
you
know.
would get like packages with sometimes?
No. I'm trying to think of a scenario that you would have it. Oh, you know, like the foam that you would stick on a window when you were a kid, and it's like kind of squishy, but it's not. It's like hard. Um,
Not really.
oh,
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't either.
But that would be stuck to your bat, or you would.
Yeah, it's like a sticky paper. It's got a sticky side on the back, and I would stick it to the back and cut it off. And it's maybe half a centimeter tall, and it's real dense, and so you can still suction it to it, but it's still got a little bit of a give, so
Yeah.
it's not like gonna, it's not super hard.
Yeah. I think the softness, I didn't even think about that, but that I mean, honestly, doing a video like talking about how you decide to trim and when you decide to trim and how you trim is probably like I might do that actually now.
You
I don't
should put
trim
it
that
on the
much stuff.
Patreon.
Oh, I was thinking about just putting it on my IGTV, but maybe.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Um, yeah. It's okay.
Charles.
I know how to describe it. It's the same type of foam that a mouse pad is made out of. It's like that foam. Like,
Okay.
yeah, okay. Hi Charles. Uh,
Yeah, that's dense shit.
what was the first piece you ever sold? Maddie 1 2 3 4.
Not in high school. It was probably a show that I did during my winter between like junior senior year of high school, and I was working out of a studio, and I think we had like a holiday sale where we
You
set our
can
stuff up,
remember
and
that far back.
yeah.
Shit.
Otherwise, it was one that I had like high school, and it was my parents' Christmas party or something, and I set all my stuff out on the table in the corner, and when people came, like it was there, and then some people bought it.
I know it was in college. I have no idea what it was. None. No
Mine was
clue.
probably 2014, I would guess. No, it's further back than that. I graduated college in 2013, so right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was probably damn, is that long ago? Shit. Uh probably 2009 maybe.
Mine was probably 2010.
Oh
But
my
like I said,
gosh.
I don't know. I don't know when, because 2009 you would have been a senior in high school.
Yeah.
Um, 2010 I was a sophomore in college, so it was either sophomore or junior year in college. But I have no idea what it was. I don't have any recollection of being excited or anything like that. So
Yeah. I was probably 09, 2010, something like that.
yeah, we used to have like studio sales, and we made a lot of shit.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I can't tell you the first piece necessarily, but I can tell you the first event probably.
yeah. Ooh, I like this one. What is your favorite objects to hand build?
Solo flyer ornaments. That's literally the only thing I handled.
There you go. My favorite thing to hand build. Oh, you know, I have these large platter plates that I make that are 12-inch plates that were for planters. And those are some of my favorite things to hand build because it's such a process, and it's like they turn out so fucking cool. Like when they're done, like anything large that's in a mold of some sort. Um, like yeah, those are freaking dope.
Nice.
I love those plates because like I do the slab and I push it inside and then I put it on the wheel and I compress it down. So it's like I throw it, but I'm not throwing it, and I compress it down and then just let it sit for a while. They're so cool.
Have you ever thrown on one of those production places that it's got like an outside thing and then you throw the mold inside it and you use the arm to do it? Is
I
that
haven't
is
done
that
it,
a
but
is that a jig?
it's a
Is that what it's
jig.
called?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a production pottery place in Louisville that made their mugs that way, and I got to do it back in high school. We like toured it. I think my mom was doing a project for her MBA there or something. Um, and we got to tour it and stuff, and I got to try it. It's like really wet clay, and you just pull the arm down, and then you got to like cut the excess away and stuff. But it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't know
Okay.
why I brought that up, but that
Well,
sounded
no,
kind of hand
it
built
is
because
cool.
you were talking about the mold thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other than that, I really like making plates. I think they're super satisfying. Like small 4-inch
Do you have?
plates.
Is there a sense of cracking? Is cracking less of a thing with plates and warping with hand built plates than it is with throwing?
Mm, I think warping is more of a thing, actually, and cracking is about same.
Okay. I would
But they're
guess
gonna
because
crack
it's
at
a
the
pretty
rims.
consistent thickness
Yeah, they're gonna
throughout.
crack at the rims as opposed to the base. So you're getting cracks in a different area.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I wonder where you guys get your brown paper shopping bags for customers. I recall Becca mentioning in an old episode that she doesn't use Uline, but I was curious where else to find these kinds of shopkeeper items at a similar price point. I actually do use Uline. And that's the Pottery Mason. A lot of people don't use Uline because of the political situation that is happening with that. I am not one of those people that cares politically because they employ everybody. if they employ people that believe all things, then I will buy from them. Um, but I do use Uline. Ryan uses somebody local. Do you want to say who it is?
This is talking about the shopping bags though, not
Yeah.
the boxes. My box supplier is local. My shopping bags is I either get it from Nashville Wraps lately or the Paper Mart.
Okay.
Paper Mart I've probably gotten from them 4 or 5 times over the last few years.
Mhm.
And then Nashville Wraps has been a newer thing in the last year or so. It really comes down to shipping for me because the Nashville Wraps has their incentive is you spend X amount. Let's say you spend $150 and the shipping costs $20.
Nice.
And if you spend over 300, it's like free shipping or 250, it's free shipping. So that's a big incentive for me. The Paper Mart one was a long-standing one, and their incentive was if you hit $200 in handled bags, you get 20% off of handled bags cost.
Cool.
But you have to pay for shipping. Like the last time I bought it, I bought like 4 cases, maybe five or maybe it was 4 to 6 cases, and the shipping for FedEx was like $90. So I was like, holy shit. So you definitely have to factor that in. And I think the price of the bags for Paper Mart were a little bit more, and then you also paid for shipping. So I actually split my order between Nashville Wraps and Paper Mart, depending on what I was buying. So
Yeah, and if you don't care about Uline and all the things, Uline shipping for like a box is like $20, and they basically don't go more than 60, I think, for shipping freight if you buy a bunch. Or that's how it was with us because there was a a Uline facility just like 2 hours away, so it was always $60 even if we got a pallet. So
yeah, I
I
would say
don't know.
definitely have some options out there because sometimes I'll go to Paper Mart and I'll look for Cub bags, let's say, and
Yeah.
it'll say sold out, and you don't know when those fuckers are coming back in. You could set a reminder, but it could be a couple. It could be like a month and a half before it says it's in
Yeah.
again.
I had
So
a
be
yeah,
ahead of the game and
I
have
had a
some
friend that
options.
always bought them off of eBay.
Okay.
So
I
that's
mean,
a
if
good
if
place
I
to look
got
too.
real desperate, I would do the if I got super desperate, I have gone to Michael's before and bought like a few if I was completely out of something and I needed it desperately because they always throw those 40% off coupons and whatever, and you could
Yeah.
buy a pack of 15, but I mean, it's kind of like, you know, I've done that a few times.
I've gone to Albertsons and gotten plastic bags.
I will not go plastic bags, but I will go Michael's paper bags.
You've clearly not been desperate enough.
I have not been that desperate. But I'm also not like I'm not getting 100 bags or something, you know.
Yeah.
You probably needed a good quantity of them that it would be financially not make sense for you to go to Michael's and buy 100 bags.
Yeah, no. Okay. How do you guys handle lighting at shows? Most of my shows are inside, so I use clamp lights wherever I can clamp them. But I have a few outdoor shows coming up in the fall and was wondering about lighting for outdoor shows. What's your favorite way to light it up? Auto C Pottery.
Auto C Pottery. I've only done maybe 2 to 3 shows that were outdoor that were late enough. Those are usually the fall ones because once you get to that time of year, it gets dark at like 5 o'clock or whatever.
Yeah.
And some of those will go to like 7. So, um, I mean, I've never had to do one where I have to have my own battery power. So
Mm,
I mean, those shows for the most part are always going to provide electricity, and I just use the clamp lights from Lowe's that are just a one single bulb, and it's got the like
the
dome
metal.
metal clamp light, and it's got the kind of arm on it, and it's got the like triangle like clamps that actually you can put on the top of your tent or whatever.
Yeah.
And I would suggest getting a daylight bulb for that,
That's a
which
good
is
idea.
going to be brighter and it's going to be more white light instead of yellow light because I feel like my stuff looks like shit with yellow light.
Mm. I um
I
I
would have like 2 of those in a tent,
oh
maybe
really?
3, but I would have like 2. Yeah.
Yeah, it's always tough with your like a specific setup, right? Because like a lot of the times I'm like, I don't fucking care. Once it gets to 7 o'clock, don't care.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably not selling that much that
Yeah,
late, but maybe you are. I don't. I mean, those shows generally that are going that late have entertainment or they have food. Like you're not
yeah,
the main guest of honor here that they're there
yeah.
to see.
I think that if I was doing a show and I had shelves, like the shelves that I had in my other booth, I think that I would probably get those lights that you can just like kind of set down and click on, you know, that you could put at the top of the shelf, like under it, and then shine it down.
Like on
Yeah,
each shelf.
yeah. Because like I mean, yeah, you can do lights, but there's always going to be weird fucking shadows from the
Yeah.
lights. So, unless you did a light from the bottom looking up and a light from the top looking down. But also I want to say that I a couple years ago found you can get the clamp lights that are the metal ones. A couple years ago, I found plastic ones at Sherwin-Williams that are far superior. Far, far, far superior than the metal ones. They clip so much easier. They don't fall apart. The
You're
plastic
talking
is like,
about? Are you talking about like a track light?
no. They look exactly like the metal ones, but they're plastic. And they're so good. Um,
Sorry,
let's see.
I'm not thinking what you're. Are you talking about the bulbs themselves? The are
No, I'm
encased in
talking about the clamping lights,
just like I'm talking about.
like a boom light.
Okay. And normally the way I would position it would be I would kind of put it above and just a little bit in front of the table so it's basically shining down. That way if somebody's walking in, they're not going to block the light.
Yeah.
So mine are pretty much downward. I haven't done one in a while, so with my current setup with like the tables on the outside edge of the booth, it would be really hard. I would probably need to put the tables further into the booth and I would probably clamp it from the edge of my booth and shine it on each side, like downward at like a not a 45 degree, but probably like a 30 degree kind of.
Okay.
That's kind of how I would do it.
Okay, this is not the exact one. However, it is very similar, and this is way more expensive than what I paid for them, but I figured I'd show you. So
Can you
these,
show the screen?
yes, I'll show the screen, but I'm going to read what it is because it's on Amazon. I looked
Okay.
up clamped light plastic on Google, and the brand is Keystone, and it's an A-1100 underscore UL. It's a polycarbonate clamp lamp.
Okay, so the housing of it is plastic.
Yeah, the housing's plastic.
Okay, and it's got a cord, but yeah. What is the price on that one? That's a single
That
one?
that one was 24, but I remember paying like $10.
Okay. Yeah, if you go to the Lowe's and you get the clam plate like I'm talking about, mine was probably like $8 or $10.
Yeah. Yeah. So I always got mine at Sherwin-Williams. They've always had them, but
Yeah,
I also had a discount. So
I would never have enough shows to invest in like track light that I need to like anchor to my tent and stuff. That's just with bulbs that are angled and all that stuff.
yeah.
That's just
I
overkill for
I
what I
was
need.
never I was never good at like lights and tents. Just never good at that.
I'm just always iffy about those kind of shows. Like there's one that happened last weekend that was called the Vina Colette Wine Festival.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like at a winery and you're going fucking all day. You're going like 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. to like 9 p.m.
Yeah.
And I'm like how much are you actually
Oh,
selling between 7 and 9 or like 6 and 9? Because people are fucking hammered by that time. And they're
yeah.
just like listening to music and partying and hanging out and
Do you know what also what Marv and Val had in their tent, which is a great idea, and I actually have these in my apartment, is I got some LED um ballast lightings, what are those things called? That like the baluster, like the long light, like the fucking LED like lights that are like bright as fuck in that have
oh, you're talking about like a shop light kind of, but it's a 4 foot.
yeah, like a shop light. And so they have LED ones that weigh like maybe a pound. And I have them in my apartment
It's a
and
single bulb. It's like a single bulb with a
two,
ballast. It's called a
two,
ballast, I think, is the thing that holds it in.
yeah, two of them. And they're like plastic. And they just plug
Oh,
in to a regular outlet. And they are so fucking bright. And they would be great in a booth. I mean, you don't really need fancy light. Like,
I mean,
stupid.
definitely go with like LED with
Yeah.
something that's got white light or like brighter light that is not yellow and not like fluorescent because I feel like your stuff is not going to look as good. Like just like if you're out in the sunlight, your stuff looks way better in the sunlight than it is in your house under lamplight.
Yeah. So, okay. I found it's called, I'm sure that this isn't exactly what I got, but
I feel like
linkable LED shop light.
that'll look
Super
kind of
great.
trashy though in your tent.
No, they look great because you put them high enough. You put them high enough, and you
Maybe.
can link them all together. And it's $50 for You
It'll
know
look
what?
like you
Just
got a
shut up.
fucking garage in there.
No, it doesn't. People don't look at that shit. You're in a fucking tent, Ryan. You're in
No,
a
I'm
tent.
saying your tent is gonna be fucking glowing. Everybody else is gonna be pitch black compared to yours.
Yeah, and people are gonna be like, "Oh my God, it's like the Star of David!" Like they're
Yeah, your tent's gonna be glowing from the light. I meant
It's
like
like 50
reverberating.
it's like $50 for a fucking
They're gonna
shop
be
light.
like,
Like
"Can you take your top off so we can just like use the light against your neighbor's light?" Like they
it's
don't
like
have.
stop it. It's like $50 for four of the lights. And they do look really good. If you put them on in all four, they'll light up
Okay.
your tent like people will flock. Also, if you have a show that late, make sure you take your own wine. That's all I'm gonna say. Just just get a fucking water bottle, pour some red wine in it, and have it for
I
dinner.
feel like that's the same with those like music festival shows.
Yeah.
I've stayed away from those because I've heard things from people that do them that is like they're not there for art. It's like you're doing a music festival and the planner thought it was a good idea to like add some art in the mix. But
Yeah.
like it's not conducive for people to want to buy something and carry it around while they're at a music festival.
The only festival that I would probably sell at is a fucking jazz festival. Because
Unless you have like consumable things like you sell like popcorn or like
yeah,
something
but
they can
like
eat in the moment.
people that listen to jazz are like rich. Okay, next one. Moving on. If both of you could never do the career paths that you currently have, so no Clay, comma, including Ryan's tech stuff, comma, what would you do for a living? Question mark.
Mudhead's pottery. Mine would be some boring shit like accounting. I feel like that would be my I wouldn't call it boring shit, but like hey, I'm a numbers guy.
You
My
are.
my major was either going to be something in tech or like business.
Yeah.
I didn't know if I wanted to like run a small business, but I think business was my go-to. I don't know if that was because I was like, oh, I want to make the ceramics a small business, but I would have done something like that probably.
Yeah. Well, let's see. I would probably be an industrial designer or an engineer.
Both of you could never do the career paths you currently have. Okay. So would you have ever like when you were in college, would you have majored in that?
Yeah, but my college didn't have that option.
What
I
would you have
almost
made?
went.
What would you have majored in for something like that? Industrial design or like
Yeah.
engineering or?
Well, I could have majored in engineering, but yeah, like if industrial design is like an actual major, and I didn't really learn about industrial design until too late.
Is that a
So
specialized major? Like it's not going to be at all schools, or is it just
yeah,
called something different? Like there's more generic name
it's
for it.
like product design.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
gotcha.
So it'd be like making a fucking can opener.
That's not mechanical engineering, right?
No, that's just design.
Design.
Industrial design. Yeah.
And would that fall under an art kind of program?
Architecture.
Architecture. Okay. So like an
Yeah.
engineering architecture
Yeah.
school of arts and sciences kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So I would be an industrial designer for sure. I always wanted to make furniture, do woodworking furniture, and I always had all these designs for furnitures and stuff. Yep, that would be my go-to.
Are those like corporations and stuff that have like or you would work in a shop that like made stuff by hand and you got to design like come up with designs for them?
I mean, you could do either. It's like you could work for OXO, that makes all those kitchen gadgets. Like there's so many things that are like
Oh, I
made,
gotcha.
like fucking designing your computer or designing the chair that's across the way from me or designing a table or designing a
Gotcha.
can opener or a spatula.
You still have to factor in like ergonomics and
Yeah.
function and
Hmm.
like size
And efficiency and
restrictions
stuff like
and
that. Yeah.
material
Yeah.
options.
But other than that, I'd probably do engineering, like a mechanical engineer.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Or accounting. I really do like numbers as well.
Yeah.
Something in finance.
I feel like I would I don't know. I mean, I don't think I'm that interesting as it is, but I feel like I would be less interesting if I did that career path. Like
With
no
no hobby.
like I don't know what my hobbies would be. Like I don't know. You just
You'd
get
golf.
so into like what you've been doing for like 10 years that it's like what would my time be spent doing?
Totally.
Or my free time, I guess.
Totes my goats, man.
I don't know.
Totes. Okay. Any plans for adding more cats to either of your situations? Chicken shit. Ceramics. Well, I just added a cat, so no more after that. Babs is my new cat.
Babs.
Yeah. She a lot of people have followed her on Instagram. But yeah, Babs and Lloyd, they sound like an old married couple because that is what they are. That fight. And there's a lot of neglect and abuse in this relationship.
Is there a lot of hissing and a lot of
Yeah, there's a lot of Lloyd coming up and being like
or like
whack.
wow.
Or yeah, when they're on the bed and then he then Babs turns around and goes and then he jumps off the bed and he goes and then he walks into the living room and he goes
That's great.
Yeah. He loves playing with her and she fucking hates it and it's hilarious.
Yeah, I don't think we plan on having any cats added to the situations. No more cats.
Your cats are a lot.
Yeah, I feel like they're good together. I mean, I see the allure if somebody has a single cat and you're like I don't know how much cats care about like I need somebody else there, but
They care.
I think does it depend on the personality of the cat?
Sometimes, yeah, but like a lot of the times they care, especially if they're younger. And you're not there, you're not home all the time. Like if you worked at home and you had a single cat, it'd probably be fine. But
Like they're like my shadow,
yeah.
honestly. Like they'll
Yeah.
go eat or whatever, and then after they get done eating, they're like, "All right, where's Dad at? Where's he at?" And they'll like come up,
Yeah.
like they came up after work, and I was still sitting up here on the couch, and they like came up here and like sat on the by the window, and I was up
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, like I'm never home, so like Lloyd needs a buddy, you know? He needs somebody that he can torment.
Yeah, somebody. All right,
Somebody
how
for love.
Bats Ceramics asks, how long can a brand new kiln go without changing elements? Mine is 2.5 years old with 60-ish firings.
Do you want to answer this or do you want me to answer this?
I mean, I think there's a number of variables here. There's what rating is your kiln, like what temperature is it rated to go fire to? What are you firing it to? And then I would guess that the speed of the firing is probably a big factor.
Yes.
Like fast, slow, medium kind of thing. And then
Yeah.
like the number of firings.
And the care of your kiln too.
Yeah.
So you're looking at, yeah, so I mean 60-ish firings on a 2.5 years. It's not really about how many years, it's more about the firings. It's also matters about the elements within your environment. So like if you're in a really humid space, or if you're in not humid space, if you're firing outside, if you're firing inside, temperature controlled. But short answer, if you had a cone 10 kiln and you're firing to cone 6 consistently.
And you're bisking in there too?
Yeah, so cone 6 and cone 06. So like let's say half. And you're doing slow fires. You're probably going to get like 150 to 200 firings out of that if you're doing everything correctly.
Damn.
Yeah, like you could. I mean, and then you're going to
And then
you need to
like a step. It's like step ladder, right? So it's like if you did medium, that would probably go down to what? 120?
I don't know. I mean, like it depends. I mean, like this is like speculation. Of course, I'm not like talking to like Scud or anything, but when I had my cone 8 kiln and I was firing bisque almost only, well, bisque and glaze in that to cone 6, I got 100 firings out of it, and then it was almost done. I think it was like 113. And the guy was like, "You did good," you know? So I feel like with a cone 10 kiln, you're going to get so much more out of that. And if you're not firing it to its peak, you know? But also, I mean, you're going to be changing out elements and stuff. You want to be vacuuming out that kiln. You want to take care of it. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I'd say you have plenty more to go if you're at a cone 10 and you're at 60-ish firings.
But are we, yeah, brand new kiln? Yeah, that's a good. I mean, 60 firings, 2.5 years. Like, I feel like you're on a good track. Like, if it's lasted you that long, like you're probably good for another year at least.
Yeah. Oh, I would say
given that
year
you're
to 2
on the
years.
same trajectory of like firings.
Man, Mackenzie's kiln that we just took out of Gravesco has never had the elements changed. You can't even fire it on fast. It has to be on slow, and it can only go to like a certain temperature.
Why is that?
It's just because if it goes too fast, the elements are like, "Fuck you."
Oh, like they will be temperamental and they won't. Mm-hmm. It'll kick the kiln off.
They won't hit temp.
See, I never fire slow except for the bisque firings. I fire Josh's program. I would assume that's equivalent to a slow, but in like the whole medium thing, like I don't have a set program for medium glaze, so I never really do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like mine last. Would you say 2 of Josh's firings would be the equivalent of like 1 glaze firing?
Oh, I don't know.
How does a bisque compare to a? Because I mean, you're not testing those elements as much.
A bisque firing can be just as damaging as a glaze firing because the moisture that's in the bisque. So I don't think that it's necessarily how high the temp goes.
But the moisture's gone. Wouldn't the moisture be more of a risk when it's the elements are the hottest? Well, I mean, it's gone when you get past 200 degrees. It's firing it off.
Yeah, but that's still like in your elements and mixing with your elements at the beginning of that firing.
Yeah, I mean, you're venting it though. That's pulling.
Potentially, but not
Yeah.
necessarily.
I would guess the organics and stuff coming off of a glaze firing are more damaging. Besides the heat, temperature is more damaging to the elements than a bisque organic firing off. I don't know.
I don't know. You read the next question, I'll Google it.
All right, next question. For markets, is there a certain amount that you would not pay to be in a market? Do you think about which other vendors are there and if the quality of work will match yours? That is from Alexa Michelle Pottery. Certain amount you would not pay to be in a market. That is going to be a factor. It's going to be more of a factor. That question is going to come in mind if it's the first time I'm ever doing it. If I've never done the market before, I'm going to be weary about something that's more than like 250 bucks. Usually, that's kind of my like some of the good art shows are going to cost you 250 bucks or 300 bucks to do, like a juried art show. So sometimes you got to take that risk, but those are usually well established ones that can get away with charging that. If it's a brand new show that I've never done before and um I'm going to be weary about paying it if if it's more than 200 or something like that. 200 250 is kind of my sweet spot for that. Um but I think there's factors that come into it. If it's I will also stay away from shows that are brand new for the most part. I heard this on another Potter talked about this. If you go to shows a lot and you go to juried shows, you will commonly get people that will come up to you and like give you a flyer about a show that's coming up, and they'll say, "Hey, you should apply for this show. It's coming up." Like if they're trying to get people to do their show within like a month of the show happening, that's way too late in my schedule to usually fit it in. But also, like, if they're still trying to fill up spots that late, they're not filling up like 1 to 2 spots. They're trying to like fill out their show. So I'm usually a little weary about those too. Even if it's like a $50 booth, like I mean, I'm usually like I want a more established show at this point in my selling career that I want to know what to expect. I don't usually do brand new shows that that I don't at least have an idea what I'm getting myself into and what the other makers are going to be. Um, this second part of this question was, do you think about what other vendors are there? I do. I want to know if they're selling handmade stuff, if they're selling, you know, fall decor that they're made out of wood or like yarn or something, or is it like well crafted stuff, or is it like holiday decorations? Like I'll be a little iffy about some of that stuff, versus because that price point, those customers are coming expecting to spend no more than like 25 bucks probably.
Mm-hmm.
And my target range of like prices is probably more around 35 bucks. My
You'd
average
be
customer is
surprised
spending about
actually, those
35,
those
but
Christmas markets. Those old ladies, they buy a lot of shit.
I mean, they probably buy a shitload of spoon rests, probably some mugs, but like I can probably leave some bowls. Like they're probably not going to buy a lot of bowls and maybe some oil bottles, but yeah. I mean, those are generally going to be low cost shows that are going to cost you 25 to 30 bucks for a booth.
Yeah. I have something to add to the last question. I'm not going to answer this question that you just answered because you're much more qualified than I am. Two things I feel like we should mention. You need to be venting your kiln in some regard if you want to keep your elements lasting longer. I just looked up this forum and this guy, well, it was mostly about peepholes, but if you don't have a vent, make sure your top peephole is open so that at least some air gets in to the kiln. And you should be leaving your lid cracked about an inch for the first like 1,000 degrees of the firing. Um, if
I
you
have a
can.
question about the peephole thing. If the kiln is really, really hot on the inside and the air temperature outside of it is cooler and the peephole is out, where is the air going? Is the air going toward the heat or is the heat going toward the cooler air?
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Like, are you saying it to say that you're getting air to come into the kiln?
I think
I
so.
would
It's like
guess that the
oxygen.
hot air is trying to get out.
I think the hot air is sucking the oxygen in.
I don't know.
I don't know. Anyway, moving on. He said during the first stages of firing, organic and sulfur compounds are burned off, released from the clay, causing that rotten egg smell during the bisque firing. The natural sulfur in the clay forms sulfur dioxide, sulfides, and sulfates, which corrode your bricks and elements, as well as items near your kiln. Trapping these sulfur compounds in your kiln can also affect your glazes, dulling both the colors and the surface of the glaze. Your whole studio needs to be vented. Breathing these fumes is not good for your lungs, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, so I think that this would potentially suggest that the bisque is actually more damaging to the elements than the glaze. But he didn't
But it
mention
doesn't
the
talk
glaze.
anything about glaze. And your glazes are completely varied based on what glazes you use. So he can't
I
really
know,
speak to that, right?
I know. I'm just saying
Because there's
that
an unlimited number of glaze things. Clays are very in a lane of like options of what clays are made out of that you know what they're going to produce, right?
I'm just saying that the bisque is potentially harmful.
No, I assumed there was things burning off that you need to get, yeah. Ventilation essential
Yeah.
for your kiln's longevity. All right. I think we answered the market one. Yeah, I definitely consider all those things. I would say like don't feel like you can be a little, you know, I don't want to say desperate, but you could find some shows and be like, you know what, I do want to do a lot of shows that I'm not really sure about because when you first start selling, you don't really know what to expect. So like get those repetitions in and spend $25 or $50 for a tent for a booth and see how it goes. Be a little bit iffy if the tent is like 100 to $150. Like those can be a little bit more of a test of like, you might not get out what you put into it, but you might. I mean, as long as you make your money back at a minimum and you're just kind of trying it out early on, I would say it's not terrible. As long as you're not like traveling like 3 hours to do it or something.
Yeah.
But yeah. I also like to start close. When I first started, start local to you. Do the areas you know, you might know some people in that area that are just coming out to support you for the first time, and you can get some customers that way. That's not a bad way to build a customer base. So,
Okay, next question. This is our final questions. I have a question for Ryan and he has a question for me. Okay.
what are we doing first?
You wanna?
I'll ask yours.
Okay.
All right. So, if you got a free $40,000 and your bank account had to stay the same a year from now. So you only had that money to spend on whatever you're going to do for this year. Where would you travel or do for the whole year?
I would, with my $40,000.
You can't gain any money. You have to just use that money.
No
and
gain.
it's gonna be gone if you don't use it.
Yeah, so I want to hit a zero budget.
Yes.
I would buy a shitty ass van.
I had a feeling you were going to say something like this.
I would buy a $5,000 van or something like that, and then outfit it, and then just drive all over this fucking country. $30,000 or even $20,000, I could easily live off of $20,000.
Fuck yeah. You lived off less than that for the last like 4 years of your life at least.
I know. I could easily, like, you buy one meal a day or just fucking peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and just drive around, meet people, get drunk at bars.
I feel like that's a lot. What if it was $20,000? Still.
No, we're staying with 40. Give me
All
a
right, all
little,
right, all
okay?
right.
You
That's plenty.
cheapskate.
That's
I
plenty.
I deserve 40. What if
So
I
where
bought a fancy van for $10,000 and
I
then
feel
had
like you could probably spend $5,000 on a van and then trick it out for 5,000. You could probably get a pretty good setup for 10,000. Or
I think so.
yeah,
Yeah. And I just travel around and just shoot the shit with people and
fucking
meet
hike
people.
everywhere.
I would not hike. Not hike.
Who would
I
you
would go to
visit?
Waitsville.
Would you just try to hit like all the states and
Paper map it up. I just buy paper maps and just like route my trails.
how do you like to drive? We
I
talked
like
about
to
this on a
drive.
trip.
I like to drive 150 miles tops a day.
Okay.
And I just oh,
I
and
meant
I
like how do you like travel?
what do you mean?
That is not like, do you travel interstates? Do you travel
Oh,
non-interstates?
no,
Do
no, no,
you
no,
point
no,
A to point B? Like, how do you do this?
no interstates, only back roads and highways if you must. And I'm a big fan of saying left or right and just going one way or the other. Like I got lost in Michigan once and it was fabulous. And like I will use a GPS to get me out of that kind of stuff, but yeah, I like to just
Are you
drive.
like, I need to end up in this city
No,
tonight?
no. Just drive until you feel like you found a place, and then once you find a place, you find either a campground or a hotel to park in, and then you just chill out there for a little while. If I had a whole year, I'd spend a lot more time in places, for sure. But I'd
Nice.
hit every single fucking state. I can guarantee you that.
Would
And I'd go
you,
into Canada too.
nice. Would you plan it around like seasons at all? Like make sure you avoid certain places during like the winter or, stuff like that?
I would make sure that I hit Vermont and New Hampshire in the fall, and New
Nice.
York in the fall, because that's beautiful, and I've done that before, and it's good. Um, but no, other than that, no. Maybe like not the hot months in the south.
Yeah.
That'd be great. I'm down. Let's do it. When are you gonna give me $40,000?
When this podcast blows up.
Okay, my question to Ryan is, which F1 track would you want to go to the most
For a race.
for a race?
Oh, you asked me this earlier, and the first one that came to mind was Abu Dhabi, but I feel like that track is not that entertaining.
But you kind of want to go to Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah,
Um,
I think that's an
that's
appropriate
and that's
response.
also the final race of the year. At least it has been the last few years.
Yeah,
But typically by that time, the last few years, it's been a null race. Like it hasn't been important because the champion has already been decided like 4 races
right.
prior. So I don't know. I feel like some of these in like the Florence, Italy one was pretty cool last year,
I was thinking that. I was actually thinking
which
that.
I think is Imola.
Mm-hmm.
Imola is the
That's the
name of
one
it.
where Ferrari like showed up, right? It was like Ferrari's like 100th or whatever.
Yeah, they it's actually outside of Florence probably by an hour or so. That would be cool.
Yeah, that would be
Because
really cool.
obviously you go there, you like see the city and stuff, and then you go to the race. It's not like you just go. And
Mm-hmm.
some of them are in just like um, random places that are like out in the country. Like I was
Yeah.
watching one a couple weeks ago where it was in Hungary, and they had like 85%, or no, it was like 90 something percent of the people that came to the race traveled by bicycle.
Jeez.
So it was like, you know, 20, I think they said it was like 20,000 bikes or something. So they just had this
Jeez.
huge field and they showed just a bunch of bike racks with a bunch
Oh
of,
my God.
it was nuts. I think that was in Hungary. It's crazy.
That's crazy.
But yeah, there's some cool ones. I feel like Australia would be probably pretty cool. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we might try to pencil in a Formula One race next year. They're going to be in Miami and they're going to be in Austin next
I'm
year.
so down.
So
Can we go to the Texas one? I've never been to Texas and I need to cross it off my list.
that'll be in Austin.
Yeah.
I feel like
We have
that
a place
one would
to stay in Austin.
Do we?
Yeah.
Oh, we could go see some live comedy there. They got a lot of good comedy there.
Didn't Joe Rogan move there?
Yes, that's part of the reason that the comedy's really hot, and that's actually where Kill Tony is hosted. He does it live every Monday at this bar place.
Sweet.
A lot of live.
So comedy. Down.
Yes. Okay. I think that one's gonna be more entertaining too, because it's actually at a circuit that's like for racing. It's not like a street thing where because the street ones historically are kind of like they're kind of tight, so like there's not a lot of passing because it's very tight streets and there's just not a ton going on. Like Monaco is not historically that's like a party one, but it's not like an entertaining race necessarily.
They're partying because they can't see the race.
Yeah, it's like you come around this corner, it's like, all right, you got about half a fucking second. All right, see ya.
Yeah, sweet.
Thanks. At least a circuit, you can like look over the field and like see a few turns.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm so down for that. I want to do that.
Yes. I think that'll be next fall.
Cool. Sweet. Love it.
All right.
Okay.
I think that's everything. And
wow,
we said we were not going to hit 2 hours, but we did.
I was like, it's going to be 12:30 by the time we're done. And then guess what? It's 12:25.
Yep. We started later today, so.
We did.
All right. Okay. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Hope you enjoyed those questions. Keep them coming. We will... we always like doing these episodes, so it catches us up on like 15 to 20 questions, and then you give us more, which we like. So
they're super fun. Sweet. Okay. Peace.
All right. Bye.
Oh, my ears.
Those things gotta hurt, right? They're on top. They're on ear headphones, so they push down on your ears.
Yes, I need to start just bringing my AirPods and wearing those.
Do you have earrings in typically when you do that, or no?
I took them out.
Okay, yeah, I feel like that would hurt, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
All right, this is episode 112.
Oh, my AirPods. I accidentally broke the silicone, like the thing that goes into your ear. That's why I asked you what size you wore.
Mm-hmm.
But I found some on Amazon that were like $10 for 3 pairs of smalls, and they work great.
Is that which size you wear as the smallest ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, my like ear canals are just like smaller. I don't know. They still kind of come out of my ear sometimes though.
Me too.
I don't get it. Like I can't be talking during it. I can't be like eating while I'm like they will fall out.
Maybe you need the mediums.
No, I had the mediums. They didn't really feel like they were in.
I
don't know. They probably had a better seal. That's true. It is kind of counterintuitive, right? You think the smaller ones are better, but they pop out easier, so it's like.
Yeah. Mine don't. Mine pop out because my ears are too small and they push them out. But most of the time they stay in. It's just like when I'm leaning to the side, sometimes they fall out. So.
Yeah. All right. I think this is questions part 5.
I just said listener questions. I have an idea for tomorrow's episode.
Okay.
I've been struggling. It'd be fun to talk through because I'm starting this whole Shitty Cups thing and like starting 2 shows. And it'd be fun to talk through what I need to do to make that successful.
Okay.
Like how many pieces I need to make, what I need to make.
I think talking through your process of how you're finding the shows that you're going to do. What shows do you think will be successful? Like that would be a question I would ask.
Okay, well, I haven't even gotten to shows yet.
Well, I mean, that's part of it. You got to find the right market for it, right?
Yeah. But I think that we could talk it out and then maybe do like a second part. Not like maybe not get to the shows yet, but like talk out the booth and how I want to set it up, And
Yeah.
that might be fun. Because like I'm sure there's a ton of people that are right in the same spot where I'm at, being like, I want to start showing, but I don't really know where to start.
Yeah, there's a lot of people like that.
Yeah.
What do we do with these question episode ones? I feel like we delete all these questions from the question episode one because we don't list them out. So I'll put them at the very bottom, and then I'll make sure that we delete them, and then we should do another what would you do if on the next one. I feel like
I think that was a good reminder.
we've been neglecting it. We did it about the last one we did it on was episode 98.
Yeah. Tell me when you have it uploaded to Google Drive.
Still saving it.
I know.
Oh, just got done.
I know it takes.
Kind of done. I feel like there's some topic. Like I have an idea of like some things I want to say, but I don't know what topic it would fit into. Of like, I mean, I tend to over commit to things, or like there's a lot of balls in the court, right? Of like opportunities that you could be doing. And I wanted to say something about like saying yes to some things that are challenging that keep like not immediately dismissing certain things that people are asking about. Like if it's a wholesale that's in your realm that you're like, I don't know if I can fit that in my timeline right now. Like I'm focused on this one show. But like maybe committing to some things and getting things under your belt is like a good way to not be disappointed when things don't like happen. Whether it's like, if a customer says they want to get something and they like flake on you. Like if you have a lot of things in the works, you don't really get too low on like disappointed when things don't work out because you already have something else to set your attention to. I don't know how that would like come through. And it could be just like, I don't know. Like I don't know, sometimes people, I don't know, I get reached out to for random things sometimes. Like, the Rolo thing of, wanting to do this little like videography things. Like I was thinking about like, can I fit that in my schedule? And I just keep talking with them about it and like ironing out details and like we eventually get it done. But it's like that is something I can fit in. I might be nervous about it because I'm like, I'm not crazy about the video stuff, but I'm like, we'll make it work and we'll do it and it'll be fine and it'll probably be better for my business to do it.
Yeah.
Kind of like I don't know. So stuff like that or like wholesale opportunities or like a gallery that says they're interested in your work and you're like, I just don't have enough inventory right now, but like still have that connection and say like, I'm kind of interested, but here's what I can do or here's what I can't do right now.
Yeah.
And like actually make a note to follow up with them and then it's good to like when you're in a lull and you have time, you can reach out to those people that you've like done wholesales with before and say like, hey, I'm curious how your thing sold before. Are you sold out? How's it going? And then you can like pick up another order potentially if you just nurture those kind of relationships and like stuff like that. So I don't know how that would be in concisely into an episode, but
yeah.
I don't know. I can also manage a lot of different things. I don't know if some people have that skill set or can balance a lot of things.
Yeah.
But,
Some people are just trying to wake up in the morning.
It's like you need to do this, 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 and this, and this, and this, and this, and find time to post on social media, and post to this, and come up with creative content that you could put on the social media.
Yep.
Fuck.
Damn it. Yeah,
All right, let's 112. It's uploading to Drive.
Yay. Hmm.
I'm definitely gonna do a video about the trimming thing though.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I could get like very specific with certain
I'm
parts of it.
excited about our podcast tomorrow to hash out the shitty cups.
Yeah.
I think this is a good idea.
So if you had to explain what it's going to be in like 2 sentences when we introduce what we're going to be talking about today.
I think it's the process of starting a new line of product and figuring out how and what I need to sell to reach a goal, like a financial goal and peace goal and stuff like that each month.
Okay.
Like,
and is it to fill a show booth? That's the end goal, right? To fill a show booth and sell it at markets?
not necessarily.
Okay.
I think, I mean,
'Cause you-
yes, I'd like to film at markets, but I don't mind selling online either.
Okay. Because I'm sure there might be a little bit of branding in there too, of like what you call them and how do you describe them.
Totally. Like, I need a new word for why. I figured out, did I tell you my
All right.
acronym
It just
for...
finished.
Yay! Did I tell you my acronym for shitty?
No.
Okay. It's simple, handmade.
Intentional? No.
Oh, what was it? Simple, handmade, inexpensive, tactile, something, another T, and I can't figure out the why.
You still need to figure out the why?
Yeah.
Live.
Oh gosh.
Jeez.
Okay, got it. Perfect.
Why? The why? The why? Why?
It was like tactile, thoughtful, and something with a Y.
Something with a why.
You can think about it tomorrow.
Okay.
I'm so tired.
Yeah, I need to go to bed.
Yeah. Okay. I will see you later.
All right. Goodbye.
Bye.